Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we have another video in the Craft Room Declutter series. These vlogs have been very popular and I love reading what you have to say about the things that you have either decided to keep or let go of and how you're going in your journey as well. I'm finding I stay really motivated by listening to different audiobooks and podcasts and reading different books on minimalism. It's kind of helping me kind of stay on the right track, but I've also developed my own 4 criteria over whether I should keep something or get rid of it or invite it into my life or just kind of say no thank you. And we're going to get into that in just a second. This video is brought to you by Audible. They have the best audiobook performances, the largest library, and the most exclusive content. You'll learn something when you listen. I've been working on my decluttering project for about 5 months, starting with the life-changing magic of tidying up and spark joy from Marie Kondo, but lately I've been listening to other minimalists on the topic. I just finished reading Goodbye Things, the new Japanese minimalism by Fumio Sasaki. I really enjoyed the practical advice with concrete examples he shared. I think it might be a bit more helpful to have his examples where he was a hoarder who got rid of stuff versus the abstract does it spark joy question of Marie Kondo. In any event, I think it's good to learn from different people, and that's what I love about Audible. I can learn while I do other things such as clean, declutter, exercise, or cook. Start a 30-day trial and your first Audible book is free. Check out the wonderful selection of books on decluttering and minimalism at audible.com/frugalcrafter today. So as I've been doing my decluttering, I've kind of come up with my own criteria, and I call it the 4 H's of investment, and that's kind of what you want to invest your time in it, your money on, and your space in, because really the space you have is a finite resource and the time you have is a finite resource. Money really isn't a finite resource. I mean, it's really important to, keep that in mind and be careful of where you spend your money, but your space and your time are truly the finite resources here. So I came up with these 4 H's that can help you decide whether it's worth spending your time and money on. So the first criteria is your head. So spending money on education, educating yourself, getting smarter, having experiences that enrich your mind. Those are always things that you're going to have. You read a book, you've got that information in your head. You listen to an audiobook, that information's in your head. You take a class, that information's in your head. Nobody can take that away from you. It's a great way to invest because it's always going to increase in value. Knowing things is a good thing. Your heart is another thing, and I would consider that like friendship, spending time with friends, eating a good meal with friends. Spending money on a good meal with friends, that's a great way to spend some money because you're doing something good for your heart, for your, for your community as a whole. Your health, taking care of your health, time that you spend exercising is going to always be worthwhile, always improve your health, always maybe give you more of that finite resource of time. If you have a long, healthy life, that's obviously better than having a long, sick life or a short, sick life. If you decide to, go for a walk every day, that's great. If you decide to go for a walk with a friend and be able to talk and enjoy each other's company, then you're getting your health and your heart, taken care of. So it's a wonderful way to spend your time and your energy. So the other thing that I think you should invest in is your home, because that is something that always appreciates in value. Plus, it's a place you spend most of your time. So putting a little time into your home is always a good investment. Spending a little money on your home is a good investment. And by that I mean like fixing, repairing things, putting a new coat of paint on your walls so your home is more inviting and enjoyable for you while you're there. Decluttering is time you invest in your home to make it more enjoyable for yourself. So those investments always appreciate in value. So kind of think of that. Am I helping my head? Am I helping my heart? Am I helping my health, or am I helping my home? If the answer is yes, then you're spending your time, money, and resources wisely, I believe. So this is going to get a little tricky though, because something that I read in Goodbye Things, I read it, then I listened to it, is that thinking about the things in your home and thinking about the space that they're occupying. So for instance, say you want to go buy a treadmill because that's going to help your health. So you go and you spend money on the treadmill, and then you spend space in your home. So let's say that you have a 1,000 square foot home, and this treadmill that you're putting in your home is about 3 feet wide and 5 feet long. So that's about 15 square feet. So let's say that your monthly expenses for your home is $2,000 a month. So that space of your treadmill is occupying. So if your expenses are $2,000 a month, basically each square foot is costing you $2 a month. So basically that 15 square feet of treadmill, that's costing you $30 a month. So on top of what you paid for the treadmill, it's costing you $30 a month to have that in your house. So think of the total cost when you're putting something in your house. Yes, it does improve your health, and that's an investment in your health if you use it daily and it's really valuable to you, but you can go for a walk outside for free, especially if you live someplace where you have nice weather. And if you do walk with a friend, then you're getting extra benefit. So really think of the total cost of something when you're bringing it into your home, and kind of weigh the cost of space that it's taking up versus the benefit of like a healthier lifestyle. You just kind of have to make those decisions. But when you think of the total cost for things, the total space things are taking up, and whether it is really investing in those 4 H's, then I think you will really be spending your time, money, and space wisely. And that's pretty much all I have today. I really did enjoy this book. It had a really great list of 50 things that will kind of act as almost like just quick little bursts of motivation. One thing that he said about your things, he said your things are like roommates that don't pay rent. So when you're looking around at all the stuff you have, it's like, yeah, you are actually paying to have these things here. And when you think about like renting a storage unit to get your things out of your house, you're paying rent, you're really paying rent for those things. So really decide whether it's worth to keep paying for these things month after month. And if you find that you're not using these things, they're not adding value, they're not investing in the 4 H's, your head, your health, your heart, or your home, then I think it becomes a lot easier to let go of those things that you don't need. And oftentimes you can let go of these things and they can benefit others. So in my town this weekend, we have the great yard sale. Every year there's a big endless yard sale where everybody drags their junk out into the lawn and tries to sell it. And then at the end of the yard sale time, usually Sunday afternoon, everything's free. So people are giving away couches, they're giving away shelves, they're giving away everything. And one of the things that he says in his book, and that's kind of where I got the treadmill analogy. I mean, I came up with a treadmill analogy, but he was talking about like a dresser. He said, don't buy it because it's cheap, and don't take it because it's free. And that's something that I've always had a hard time with, accepting free things. I would, like if somebody had, well, I don't want these craft supplies anymore, maybe you can use them in a class. And I'm like, okay, because I felt like then it's my responsibility to make sure these don't end up in the trash. I've got to, think up a project with them and go teach it. And, honestly, that was kind of a fun challenge, and I did enjoy that for quite a long time. But now I realized I just had taken in all these misfit supplies and taken them on as my responsibility, and it was just the weight became too much for that. So when you're looking at something and you see like maybe a shelf on the side of the road that's free and you take it in, that's kind of twofold. It can be a twofold problem. It can be a problem because now you got to find room for the shelf, and then once you have a shelf, you've got all this more room for more clutter and stuff that you might otherwise just not have kept. So, just be really cautious when you're taking something in for free. If you're taking in a free treadmill, you may like, yeah, free treadmill, I didn't have to spend $1,000 on that. But then you're like, well, it's taking 15 square feet and I'm paying for that. I'm paying to heat that space all the time. And I've just, dedicated that space to that treadmill and nothing else. So just be really mindful about what you're bringing into your home, and think about the really finite resources, which would be your space and your time. And of course, you need to keep your budget in mind, and you need to think about what things cost in the long term. But I find when you're thinking about your space and your time, it makes you really aware of what things cost long term. That free treadmill is not free. That's going to take electricity. It's going to take space. It's going to take maintenance. If you don't use it, it's really a complete waste of space. We do have a treadmill. I live in an area where it is cold, too cold to walk outside for several months of the year. And personally, since my dog passed away, I don't want to walk outside. I'd much rather just walk on the treadmill and watch, catch up on my YouTube videos at that point in the day. It's a little treat for me. It's a de-stressing time. For me, it's worth the 15 square feet that treadmill takes up in my basement to be able to have the convenience to work out at home. It might not be if you have to have it in the middle of your living room. If I had to have my treadmill in the middle of my living room, it wouldn't be worth it. I wouldn't want to look at that every day. So weigh the cost of your space and your time and your budget and your home, you know, weigh those H's and see if they're really worth the cost. So yes, health benefit, but it's detracting from my home if it has to be in my living room. It's using up my time to dust it and to clean it, where I could just like throw on a coat and walk outside. You know, you really have to weigh all those different factors. What's the true cost of this item I'm bringing in, and does it benefit my head, my heart, my health, or my home? And I think that will really help you decide whether it's worth the investment or not, the investment of your time, the investment of your space. Because if you think of it not just being what you're paying for something, if you think of it as what you're investing in something, I think it puts a very positive spin on it, and it makes you be able to make really clear decisions. If you say, I'm making an investment in my home, it's not just I'm spending all this money on paint. No, I'm making an investment in my home. It makes you feel better to spend money on good quality things and to put it to use, rather than just like, oh, look, a deal on paint. I'm going to buy all this paint and then it's going to sit in my basement for 3 years, and I'm never going to make that investment on my home. It'll become a someday project, and then eventually it will, you know, go out in my next yard sale. You don't want that. You want to do things that are manageable and that are appropriate for your life and that really do benefit you. A deal is not a deal if you never use it. Free is not a deal if you never use it. Free is not a deal if it's just taking up space in your home. So I hope this gives you a little motivation. I'm finding that I get a lot of motivation from hearing other people's reasonings on why they keep or why they get rid of things, and I hope this can help you. I want to thank Audible for sponsoring this video. I do enjoy listening to audiobooks and podcasts and things like that while I am tidying or cooking. That's another thing. Like, I used to hate to cook. I'm still not crazy about cooking, but I find that if I can throw an audiobook on and listen while I'm cooking, I'll take my time. I'll clean up after myself. It's a much more pleasant experience. So again, it's how I spend my time. I'm spending my time and enjoying it versus just getting it done so I can get on to the next thing that I really would rather do. So try to make all of your moments as enjoyable as you can, and invest in yourself, invest in your 4 H's, and I think that you will you'll have a more productive and happier life. I'll have links to everything I mentioned in the video description. You can check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.